Today we're talking about that lovely voice in our heads that whispers, "You're totally screwing this up."
You're screwing this up.
We're talking about mom guilt. And welcome to Mama's Playground. This is Darlene.
And this is Monica.
I don't know why I'm laughing so much right now. Mom guilt. Do we have it or not? Yes.
Yes. We all have it.
All the time.
All of it. Every single one of us. I've never met somebody that has said, I don't have any mom
But
guilt.
wait, let me ask Fabian, is there such thing as dad guilt?
I guess, yeah.
He's lying.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah. He didn't even think about it.
That
Yeah,
was
sure.
fake. Whatever. Okay. I've never heard of dad guilt.
Why do we always feel so guilty?
Why? Why is Holder bird? It's
not fair.
He's walking out of the room.
It
as
really
we
isn't.
speak. So, okay, let's talk about mom guilt. It does exist. You're not alone. It exists in so many ways. It can happen on a daily basis. So let's start talking about it.
I think mom guilt starts even from before they're born.
Yeah.
Even when they're in your belly and they're growing in your belly, it's like, did you eat the correct food? Is your baby getting oh my God, I ate really bad, or I didn't eat enough. Oh my God, is the baby getting enough food? It starts from
That's
the
true.
beginning.
Yeah, I need to start having more vegetables, which I've never eaten in
Exactly.
my life, just because they say it's good for the baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to walk more. I need to do this. And then they're born. It's like, did I give enough? Did I breastfeed enough? Did I give them this? I didn't breastfeed. My baby's not going to get enough nutrients. Oh my God, I'm such a horrible mom. It just starts from the very, very beginning.
Yeah, even when they ask you, are you breastfeeding? Are you going to breastfeed?
boy.
And I mean, that's totally a personal, choice. But there's women that I'm sure that feel like, I don't want to, but now that you're asking me, should I?
No, it's that you're meant to feel guilty. And that aspect with the breastfeeding, I remember with my first 8 years ago, almost. When he was born, I remember trying to breastfeed, and you get that lactation nurse that comes into the room and tries to tell you how to do it because you're a first-time mom. And I mean, she was like this Russian lady. She came in with it. She's like, "You're not doing it right." Just telling me how to do things. And then she would grab my boob and she would stick it in his mouth.
Oh my God.
And I was
you're
like, "Ow,
killing
ow,
me
it's
right
hurting.
now.
It's not supposed to hurt." And I was like, "But it's hurting. It's hurting." You know?
I felt I felt so violated
I was violated. Tell me your story.
on this one because she comes in and they don't tell you this, when you're going through the classes, the birthing classes. Nobody tells you that this stranger is going to come and just grab your boob without permission and be like, "This is how it goes." And I'm like, I'm not a freaking cow. Take it easy.
And it's like they think that I guess you get better nurses than others, right? But for instance, the first one that I got was like that. Like, "You're not doing it right. You got to do it like this. Stick it." And then she would grab Jacob's mouth and open it and then put it and latch him on. And I'm like, "He's not latching. It hurts. It's not supposed to hurt." And then it was like that guilt. And I was like, the milk is not coming out. I'm not one of these people that milk just fluidly comes out and you've got like to serve a whole entire freaking country.
I know.
That was not me. And then I went home and I remember going home and like that guilt as a first time, mom saying, "Oh my God, I'm not giving him the colostrum. I'm not giving him enough milk. Like my baby's not going to be, the nutrients." And then I think I only did the breastfeeding and also pumping for like 3 weeks. And that was it. I did about 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did about 3 weeks
For both?
For Noah, it was less.
So you breastfed for a couple of weeks.
I don't want to say that. I think for Jacob, I did it maybe a little bit over a month, and that was it. I was done. I just couldn't. The milk wouldn't come out enough. It was. I was getting frustrated with myself, and I was like, "This is not normal." Yeah,
1 ounce.
not
You
even.
would be like pumping for.
Not
what happened to
even.
me,
Not
yeah.
even. I couldn't get it out. I was like, okay, maybe. And some other moms will be like, "Oh, you just didn't do it right," or whatever.
Shut up.
Exactly.
She did it right.
I
It
did
just
to
didn't
what I
come out.
could. But the guilt settles in because you
Yeah.
get all these other voices in your head saying you should have done it like this. And look at so and so. And they breastfeed for a whole year. and their
man.
baby's 7 years old and they're still breastfeeding. It's like, it's the guilt,
I
that,
look at
that
Luna,
guilt.
that's so flaquita, so skinny. And then I see till this day, she's 6. And I look at these other kids that are big bone and they have mass. And I'm like, she was probably breastfed for a long time. I still think about it.
But you see,
And the mom guilt, and this was in my case, not only, what society says, like you have to breastfeed, it's the best thing for the baby, but for me, it was so stressful because I did not produce enough either. Luna ended up in NICU because she was not receiving food. Oh man, and I feel so guilty, and that's something that I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I tried. Oh my God, I tried taking so many vitamins, some horse stuff. I put so many things, boil, and I was taking so many things that they said this is good for milk production, but it was just not happening. And we know what's best for us, for our baby. Not necessarily what worked for you is going to work for us, and it's not by choice. It's just because our bodies are different.
Yeah.
And then when Fabian or my dad, that are men, or my mom who didn't breastfeed by choice, and hey, I'm still here, I'm alive, I'm healthy, so that's a proof that you don't have to breastfeed. But they would be like, "Oh, the baby's hungry. She's just hungry." And I would feel horrible because I'm like, I can't do anything about it.
The guilt sets in.
Then for the formula, we're like, okay, we're gonna get the best formula out there, the most organic, and it was so expensive at that time. I can't imagine right now.
Again, the mom guilt, I feel like starts from way before they're even born. Like as soon as they're brewing in your body, it's like from everything from your food choices to
what
did
you're
you move
listening
enough?
to.
What did you listen to? Did you have a fight with your husband now, and that fight is affecting the baby internally, and like you need to calm it down, and it's like the hormone. It starts from the very beginning, and then when they're out, and then they have certain quirks or something, you say to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm guilty because during the whole time of my pregnancy, I did this, and that's probably why they're like this." You know what I mean? And it's like, you think so many different things, and then they're here already, and then they start, the walking part, and then it's like,
No, wait, even the sleeping part.
everything.
It's like, don't put them in your bed. It's come on, but she's waking up at a certain time, the middle of the night, and it's easier for me to already have her here, especially for those moms that do breastfeed. It's easier for them to have them there, but don't put them in the bed, and you have to put them here, but in that bassinet, their head has to be this way. And it's so much information for these poor moms that this is probably their first time doing it.
Yeah.
They don't know who to listen, and at the end of the day, listen to what you feel, what your heart says.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, you're always going to have some sort of a guilt. That's what I think. There's always going to be something that you could have done better or that you could have made a different choice on, let's say. But again, if you don't make mistakes, what the hell do you learn from? If life was perfect and everything was, oh my God, I'm the most perfect mom in the world. Everything is so perfect. I do everything so I don't think that exists.
Yeah.
That's only on Instagram that, the little snippets that you get of all these influencers that you say, oh my God, their life is so perfect. Bullshit. You know what I mean? It's not there. Everything is, everything is trial and error. And again, the mom guilt is very real because it starts from when they're brewing in your body to when they're out. And it's from everything, again, the food choices to what you do. Like, for instance, the sleeping situation. I remember Jacob being maybe about 1 year old. And I still remember this day, and I freaked out. Again, he was my first, my first.
Your trial and error.
My trial and error. And even then with the second one, there's trial and errors, because they're very different. But I had Jacob sleeping with me in bed, and I had put all these pillows on one side because obviously I'm on the other side, and Benjamin was downstairs watching TV. So I had him on one side. I passed out. I was so exhausted. I passed out. And I guess he was moving and moving and moving, and all of a sudden he fell.
He did not.
He fell.
How old was he?
No, he was, he was sturdy,
1 month.
He was sturdy. Thankfully, my bed wasn't so high. I have a low profile bed, and our floor wasn't like, porcelain or anything like that. I had like the softwood planks.
You can tell that you're like into interior designing and all that because you just said like 3 words that I would not have said.
Well, it's not it wasn't
wait,
hard.
The bed was what? The bed was.
It was a low profile.
Low profile.
It was
bed.
low
I've
profile.
Never heard.
Low profile. The floor is like, your laminates are, it's soft. So, but either way, dude, I sorry if dude came out. I had him sleeping there,
It's
and
okay.
all of us
started calling me dude the other day.
God, it's horrible.
It's okay.
But he was sleeping, and all of a sudden, I hear a bam. And I wake up, and I was like, screaming, Benjamin. And he had fallen. And thankfully, again, he wasn't crying. He didn't have anything. Thankfully, it wasn't a high bed. It
High
wasn't
profile, but
high profile bed. It wasn't like a marble floor or anything like that. But the mom guilt set in again. I was like, it's my fault. I put him to sleep with me and I was so tired. I shouldn't have been so tired. I should have kept my eye on him. I should have put him in his crib, like everything. It just, anytime something doesn't go perfectly, let's say, or doesn't go good, the mom guilt sets in, or that you see that you're not paying. Like right now, my kids are, 5 and 8. Or 7. You're looking at you look at them and it's like just from answering the phone and they're trying to tell you something like, Mom, look over here, look at something, and you're trying to answer an email because you have to answer the email because it's work.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's like guilt is there like waiting for you.
yeah, no, right now what happens with me is, and I even tell her, she's like, Mom, I fix her room again. So she's like, Mom, I want to go play in my new room and I want you to play with me. And I feel bad because it's like I cannot go and do that because I have to be in the kitchen doing something, or I have to answer an email, or for me, I don't function when I see a mess in my house. So basically I never function. There's always a mess to clean. But I feel bad because I'm here doing the dishes and I'm like, man, like I should be in the room playing with her. And one thing that I don't want to regret in the future is not playing with her enough. Like she's still in that beautiful age of, she has her dollhouse, her princess castle, her like little toy kitchen. And I'm looking around the other day in the room and I'm like, I'm not playing with her in the room. And she doesn't have siblings. And I asked her, Luna, why don't you play with your toys? I don't have anybody to play with. And that,
you're her playmate.
That right now is killing me.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I don't want to in the future say. I should have played more with her in her room and doing like the girly things, because when she's a teenager, that's not going to happen.
No, it's going to be other things.
But right now I am going through that mom guilt of, because I'm trying to get everything always organized or not, just getting busy doing something else. I'm not spending enough time with her. I'm working on that one because it hits you hard. Like when they're asking for things or you're too busy or you're on your phone. And so we have to just think about us in the future. What would we be, regretting not doing now?
I think more, and again, this is like I have to follow my own advice sometimes, but I know it. Like I know it, but obviously we don't follow through on lots of things that we do know, is the fact of, it's quality over, I guess, quantity, right? So it's like those quality moments, because sometimes you're not going to be able to. Let's be realistic. Sometimes there's things that, you have to do because otherwise the household doesn't function, or you cannot have a household over you. You can't have a roof over your head if you don't do certain things. So being people that work, being people that are, doing the daily task of children and house, and it's not things that need to get taken care of. Sometimes it's hard, but sometimes you have to put them to the side for a minute and continue doing something so that you could spend actual quality time with them. Because if you don't, let's say you stop doing everything and you have that in the back of your mind of all the things that you need to do, you're not really spending the quality time because you're with them doing stuff with them. But in the back of your head, you're like, but oh my God, I have to hurry because, if I don't finish, it's at 10 o'clock at night already and I need to do this. And, so it's like, we're very hard on ourselves, excuse me. And it's like a common thing between, I think, like us, I want to say parents in general, but I think more mom. And I think that's why mom guilt is always thrown around. Like, do you have mom guilt? The mom guilt. Because I think we birthed them, so we have this like connection with them, and we see them and we're like, oh my God, they're getting so big.
Yeah.
And there's that thing that says, oh, you only get 18 summers with them.
Stop it.
That makes me cry. I swear to you, I've
Stop
cried.
it.
I've been at nighttime. I think it's the perimenopause again. I'm gonna bring this up and everything. But I'm like laying in bed and everybody's sleeping, and I start going, oh my God. Like I look at pictures and I say, oh my God, look how big they are already. This was just yesterday. And the mom guilt starts to settle in of the things that you want to do but you haven't been able to do. And
a side note on that, I could add there the daughter guilt, because I do wake up at night sometimes thinking, oh my God, when my parents are not around, I'm going to regret not doing this with them or not. My dad loves showing me, or he's always sending me things that he finds online. And at times, did you see it? I'm like, Dad, no, same. I haven't. I just feel that the daughter guilt kicks in when I also want to spend time with my parents as much as I can while I still have them. But yeah, that was just a side note when you said the waking up at night.
No, imagine. And you saying that, I mean, again, we're talking about our kids, but it's the guilt of the elderly parents too. If you still have them around, to be able to appreciate them and also have them spend quality time with your kids, because at the end of the
That's
day,
priceless,
it's like,
yeah.
it's everything. It's you spending time with them, with your kids, spending time as a family, having more quality time with each other. Again, it's not quantity, because you can, I've realized, like, I started working from home probably about over a year ago. And the guilt was always in the fact that I would have to commute far and then come back home late, and I wouldn't be there to pick up, the kids, and I wouldn't be there for field trips and all that. So the guilt set in. So then finally I get this thing where, I'm on my own now basically, and I've been about a year. And now it's like, even though I'm home, sometimes I find myself not spending the quality time, because now I have so many other things that I need to do.
You brought work home.
Yeah. And there's so many things that I need to do. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're present, but are you really present? And I've had moments, which just happened to me yesterday. I was in the car picking the kids up from school, and a client, I'm trying to multitask again. The client was sending me a message, and I'm at a stoplight, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take 2 seconds, and I'm going to answer this text real quick. It's horrible. Don't follow doing that, but I know a lot of us do. And I see in the rearview mirror Noah going, Mommy, did you listen to what I'm telling you? Did you hear me? And I was spaced out in the text message. And then I look back, and he's like, you're not listening to me. Listen to me. And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. And then I put back the phone, and I'm like, okay, tell me. And then the client sends the thing, and I want to press, I want to see what the reply was. And I was like, stop it. Just listen to what he's telling you. Or you're almost home. Like, and the mom guilt sets in again. I'm like, Monica, like you've, but it's not going to be perfect. I'm well aware that it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be a little bit of that guilt, because there's always going to be someone, whether you think you did it perfect for one, you didn't do it perfect for the other, because everybody has different perceptions on what good is, or what bad is, or, or what could have been better, let's say.
The problem with the present times is that we're always available for everybody. So it used to be, growing up with me, my dad would work 9 to 5, and then he would come home, and it was quality time with the family. Same with my mom. But now we're living in times where we have the cell phones. Thanks, Steve Jobs. We have the phones, and so we're reachable all the time. So in our case, that we have our video production company, at times Fabiana's in the couch at 10:30 receiving messages, or, to rent equipment that we rent out and all that. And obviously, he has to do it. It sucks, but he has to do it. He also tells Luna, hey, I have to answer this. But now when we pick them up, I think the best quality time you can have is in the car with them. Because once you come home, you either have to cook, you have to clean, you have to, do so many things. You have to answer the email. Oh, you got to answer the text, the client, all that. And then the kid, poor kid, watch some TV. And that's another thing that gives me mom guilt.
Leaving them watching TV.
Yeah.
Or leaving Luna watching TV. Yeah, that happens to me as well. It's like, how much TV am I going to, you start with something, you're like, okay, watch just 20 minutes of TV. And when I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play with you. And then you look up, and 20 minutes have passed, and it's been 45 minutes. And then you're like, okay, I said it. Okay, give me a chance. They're quiet. They're giving me a chance to finish. Let me just finish this last thing I got to do so I could take it out of my plate.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, time has passed. It's later.
And then you're like, one more episode. I'll give you one more episode until I'm done. And before you know it, it's the whole season of the show. Yeah. True story. Yeah. But that's why it's important, whatever you put on the TV for them, something that it's good, educational, something that no crazy stuff. Just monitor whatever they're watching.
I heard a psychologist say about that. Like, I like to listen to all these, like, the experts actually talking. And she had said something about, it's like anything in this life. It's like the quality time even with your partner, the sexy time with your partner, which will be another topic another day. All those things. Unfortunately, sometimes you don't want to schedule it in or pencil it in, because you're like, it should just come natural. It should just come, like, it shouldn't be penciled in. But it takes penciling in. There has to be a moment where you say to yourself, what you really want is to spend those, like, really true quality times and make memories with your kids and your partner or whatever. You have to pencil it in. So then you say to yourself, okay, I've worked all this week. Friday and Saturday, I really have to make it an effort that Friday and Saturday, like my phone is coming to the side, and the only time that I'm going to answer my phone or I'm going to do whatever is between this. And I know it's easier said than done, because it really is, especially when you work for yourself or whatever, and you've got clients, and you're like, okay, if I don't answer this phone call, then what's going to happen? Then they may go somewhere else, or I may lose the opportunity. And it's that's something, at least the way that I think in my head with what I do. But it's really penciling it in and saying, okay, today, forget about it. Like today, the whole day is going to be family day. And today we're going to spend real quality time together. Not that, that you're present, but you're really not there.
But the only way to do that is shutting that phone off.
Correct. Yeah. No. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that in today's world.
That's like I was saying, in today's world, it's
hard.
And it's, if you don't answer that email, then somebody else is going to get that job. And
correct.
Then my dad has always said that, Fabian has always said that, and it's true. So you have to be, constantly available.
Yeah.
So it's hard, because this is what the kids are looking. And I was going to ask you now, jumping to another mom guilt aspect of our lives. I remember you were going through that because my friend Kelsey, shout out to Kelsey, she's going through this mom guilt in which she's going to travel by herself without any of the kids. So, mind you, the husband is super supportive, but how did you feel, for example, when you were going to go to a wedding and you couldn't take the kids? It was your first time, because the kids love hotels and all that. So when you get to do it, it's, oh my God. It would happen to me. I would go with Fabian for anniversaries, and I'm like, oh my God, Luna would love this hotel. Oh my God, the next day at the pool, can we have my mom bring her? Like, she will totally love this pool. Look at those little girls over there playing.
Yeah, you're constantly thinking about them.
But it was like we were driving distance, but you got on a plane, you went to a different country. Like, how did you manage it? Or how long did that last? Maybe after your first drink when you got to the hotel.
To be honest with you, and I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to like right now this year, we went on a cruise to the Bahamas for my birthday, and we went as a family. And my birthday ended up being a thing of obviously everything for the kids, right? Everything was for the kids. We're on this cruise. There's a lot of things to do for the adults, and comparing, right? I'm comparing both. Yeah. I'm comparing when I went and we left the kids for the wedding, and then this particular episode where we went to the cruise with the kids. And for me, comparing both, I think the guilt set in the first time we left them by themselves, because it was like, oh my God, they're not going to be here. We're traveling away to like another country. And, the guilt of like, yes, they love hotels and they love to travel and they want to be with us. But at the end of the day, when we got back from the trip, which we had a great trip during that wedding, when we got back, the kids also had a really good time being away from us and having a different setting, because they stayed in my parents' house, and then they saw my sister, and then they did different things, and they were happy. And I think sometimes they need to take a little break from us sometimes, from our bitching, pick up this and don't leave this, and and from sometimes just always being dependent on us. Like, they need a little bit of that independence of being away from us and knowing that it's okay. Obviously, when they're in good hands with other people that you trust. And then coming back to this year's trip, we took them to the Bahamas, and I'm telling you, it was like, I love my children. I really do. But at that point, I did.
Go for it. They're not listening to this. Go for it.
I would have loved a day. I really would have loved a day with just me and Benjamin, just being at the pool, just calm, because every second was, I had to be watching Noah because he wanted to be in the big kids pool, and then Benjamin will be, come sit next to me, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna leave him, not even with the freaking floaties on would I leave him by himself. Like, I'm just, that's that I just
What about
won't.
the kids club? They didn't have a kids club?
They do, but there's the thing, I don't feel comfortable leaving them in the kids club. Oh yeah, I didn't feel comfortable leaving in the kids club. So then me and Benjamin went to go see the kids club, and we're like, okay, should we not? And then and then Jacob starts like, you're gonna leave me there, Mom? And then the guilt started, and I was like, and then I was like, what if? And then again, there goes the guilt, and then like the what if scenarios in my head. Of
they walk
either
away
ADHD
and they jump off the boat, like.
I was just like, what if this guy? Okay, so hold on. The guy, I met this older man as I was in line.
Overboard.
We were this. Okay, wait. So let me tell you what this guy told me. He's an older guy. He sees me with the two kids. I was standing in line to talk to like the concierge person, whatever. And he goes to me, oh, those are your two kids. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, how old are they? I gave him the age. He's like, oh, I remember when me and my wife used to come with our kids. Now they're older. He's like, I remember one time I left my kid, must have been 6, 7, at the kids club on a cruise. Okay. He's like, and me and my wife went to the bar to go get a drink. We're thinking everything is fine. And all of a sudden, 40 minutes later, my kid is standing right next to me. And I ask him, what are you doing here? He's like, what, Dad? Like, I'm here with you guys. He ran away from the people in the kids club.
Oh, see, that's not a good kids club.
You know, well,
That's not good.
You know, it happened, and it was a good cruise line. I'm not going to say which one it was. And he said, I don't know how, but they just, you know, maybe they opened up the gate that they have the kids in, you know. I don't know how. So he said that to me, and no, I did not leave my kids at the kid club, because I kept thinking, like, what if I leave them and then we go to the other side of the cruise ship? And what if Noah decides to, like, sees the gate open and he just decides to leave to the arcade, because the arcade was right next to the kids club, and he was dying to go to the arcade. So all the scenarios ran into my head. I was like, screw it. No, I'd rather have my kids here with me, and it is what it is, and we'll just deal with it. Like, we didn't go to any of the adult stuff. Everything was for them. The rock climbing, the pool, you know, we would go somewhere. It's too hot. I don't want to be here. Okay, let's
You
get
gotta
up.
be changing them out of their wet clothes every like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, oh, now I want to go back. It's a lot.
I'm not complaining. Again, I know I am very blessed to have 2 kids. There's people out there that would love to have children. They don't have it. It's not a complaint, but it is sometimes you want that time to yourself.
We need to break that seal because we had a trip to Punta Cana and paid for and everything, and we ended up extending it just because I was not ready. And
to leave Luna.
It's just for Fabiana and I remember saying, what if we pay her way and we put her in the kids club in Punta Cana in the all-inclusive resort? And we still haven't done it. And so we extended it, like we can use it like this whole year at some point. And I struggle with that because she's always, you know, my mom guilt, part of this. Most of my friends have the Disney packages. I don't have it. So they go to Disney the whole year. They go so many times. You know who I'm talking about, my girls. And I feel bad because Luna said, Mom, I want to go to Disney. And she'll be 13 and still be like, Mom, okay, I'm going to Disney on my own. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's super over expensive right now. And our priorities and it's not there. But that's sort of the mom guilt I have. So knowing that she loves hotels and she's dying to travel. And I even told him, what about if instead of going to Punta Cana, let's just go to Orlando? And Fabian was like, no, we're going to Punta Cana. It's for us.
You have to do it. And but here's the good part about it is that you do have someone trustworthy that is around to take care of Luna.
Yes.
So I can see it on the side of, you know, and I also, and, you know, knock on wood, I still have my parents around and my in-laws around, that if anything, we could leave them with them. And I know they're in good hands. Mm-hmm. But imagine the people that do not have this, that are on their own. They move to another country. They move to somewhere where their family's not there. And now they want to have that time. And they really don't have anybody to trust to leave them.
They
you know?
can't have the kids and with the babysitter for a whole weekend. Yeah.
Now you have the parents that are like, oh my God, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
I am not judging. But I could just never do that. That they find the babysitter online and they're like, well, I'll leave for a weekend and I found this babysitter. Like, I just can't. It's hard. So that guilt, you know, I think sets in many different different ways. And again, I don't think it's ever going to end, because the people that I know that have older kids.
Really?
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. I think my mom still has guilt about me, about things that she did from my sister. And I mean, hello, I'm in my 40s and my sister's almost, you know, 50. Okay. But I think it doesn't end. It's always something. I think, you know, as they get older too, it's like, are you paying enough attention to who they're hanging around with? Oh my God, no, because I'm working. Or did I cumplir? You know, did I do what I said that I was going to do for them? That they asked me to, I don't know, go shopping with them. In your case, to go buy a dress for prom. And no, I postponed it, you know? Yeah. And it's just like that guilt is always there when you don't, you know, what is the word that I'm trying to say? When you don't follow through exactly at the time that you said. Because sometimes you say you're going to do something today, and then today just doesn't happen, and the guilt sets in. But then you end up doing it in a week from now. So it's like you got to give yourself grace too and say, I did do it. I might not have done it the exact moment when I said I was going to do it.
Yeah, prioritize.
But I did it, you know? But I did it. So I don't think, I'm sure a lot of moms out there will say I have guilt.
For example, and a lot of moms in the car line right now, moms that work a lot. We're working from home. But there's all these moms that are not. And they, for example, they have to pick up the kids and immediately, you know, they have to go back to work. But those moms that can't volunteer enough at school,
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of moms that feel so bad. They're, no, we make the payment, but they don't know other moms. They don't know the other kids' names. And I am so grateful for the fact that I am able to do it, that I'm able to be there at all the events. But I could see how many can feel guilty about not being, but don't feel guilty because you're a good mom. You're a good mom. You're working hard and you're being a full-time mom because even when we're working, doing something, our heads are always in with our kids. But even if you're not volunteering and doing all of that, just don't feel guilty.
You saying that, the other day I went to a field trip with Jacob's class, my oldest son's class, and I was in charge of 4 little boys, right? So they gave us all like a group or whatever. And there was maybe about 6 chaperones, me being one of them. And we went to this like adventure thing, whatever. And I make sure every single time that I am a chaperone, because I can only imagine you not being able to be present. Obviously, we have a chat on WhatsApp of all the parents in the class. And there's a lot of moms, I'm sure, and even fathers that would want to be part of it. And they can't. They're working. They don't have, the flexible schedule, whatever. So I always make it a priority to take pictures on the bus. I send it on the chat.
Yes.
We get to the place, whatever their kid is doing, I try to take nice pictures of their kids. Like I don't just take random. I take nice pictures and I send it. And you don't know how much, like, on the 3 or 4 occasions that I've gone where the parents say, thank you so much for taking care of my baby. Thank you so much for taking pictures and sending it to me, because I can only imagine if it was the opposite. If I'm not able to be there, I'm sure I would love to be spending time with my kid, getting to know their friends, knowing how they interact with the other, and not being able to be there. It would kill me if nobody would, reciprocate that,
I have a tracker on Luna, so for her field trips, I'm always like tracking where she's at, and I'll send it to other moms that weren't able to go as well. And I'm like, okay, she's not, the last school year, I'm like, okay, they're not taking I-75. They're like on local roads. Oh, great. Good to know. I was telling that to Yoko, actually. I'm like, no, I'm tracking them. They're going local. They're not taking the highway.
Oh my God. I'm yet to let my kids go on a field trip that I'm not there. And again, I did
Put a tracker.
I did the whole entire thing so I can be present. Like every time there's a volunteer, I'm like the first one trying to volunteer to be there. But yeah, the mom guilt sets in. So we got to give grace. Sometimes we think, like, I'm going to give you one other example. I'm sorry. I was in Noah's class for Mother's Day this year. And they had all the moms come. Every single mom showed up except for one little boy's mom that was sitting in Noah's table. And that little boy didn't talk to anybody. He was looking around. He looked super sad. I was trying to make him laugh and say, hey, Isaac, like, look, you want a cupcake? He wouldn't answer. Do you want to eat that? He wouldn't answer. And then his teacher was like, he's the only kid here without his mom. And again, we as other moms and even the teacher, we probably all want to judge.
I hope she's not listening. I don't know. Because she's going to be like, great, thank you for pointing it out.
Well, I mean, I don't know the mom personally, but I know the little boy was by himself. And again, as a society, a lot of us want to judge and be like, this mom didn't get there. Oh, but we have no clue what's happening in her life. Maybe she just couldn't. Maybe she's a nurse and she couldn't take off of work at all because she's taking care of sick patients. Like nobody knows, but as a society, we want to say, oh, this mom just, she didn't even come for Mother's Day. Like, what is that, And it sucks because we don't know what other people are going through. And again, we all have that mom guilt.
But, and I hope my friend that I'm not going to say her name, but I hope she's not listening. But you know what? Sometimes you got to say, fuck it. I screwed up and what can I do? My friend's daughter, she was honored with like Student of the Month. And she came home with the slip that they give you at school for the parents to read. So she didn't read it. She didn't know what it was about. So they did the Student of the Month ceremony. And she didn't go. And she was home. She could have gone. She wasn't working.
She forgot.
She's like, well, I don't know. They gave me like this slip and I didn't read it. I didn't know what it was. And I guess it was inviting me to the ceremony where they were going to honor my daughter. So I spoke to her that afternoon and she was feeling terrible. But then at the end, she's like, you know what? It is what it is. I do so much for her. So we are going to screw up. Like
Absolutely.
we're not perfect moms. It is what it is.
And it's going to be thrown in your face eventually. When they get older, whatever you do, because I know I did it to my parents and I'm sure, it's just like a vicious cycle. Yeah. As you get older and you're more aware of things, And even now that the kids are like, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that age, they're already very aware. They're going to throw it in your face because they throw it in my face to this day. Jacob, that's a little older, will go to me, mommy, you don't listen to me. Oh, you're going to be are you scrolling through social media? He tells me. And I go to him, what are you? He's like, you think I don't see you, mom, but I saw you on social media. It's like, I only get like two, I get some time.
They're getting too smart. My thing with Luna now is that she's constantly interrupting me. So I'll be yesterday we were having dinner, and it was my mom, Fabiana, and I, and Luna was there. And I'm trying to talk. We're just having normal conversation. And she's like, Mom, blah, 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 blah. And I was so mad. To one point, I'm like, stop interrupting me, please. I don't know if the boys are in this stage, but they take points out of her at school. They were doing it last school year because she kept talking over the teacher. And she's doing this at the house. My husband says it comes from my dad's side. I don't know, but so the point is that this is her defense. She's like, Mom, but if I don't tell you at that moment, I'm going to forget what I was going to say.
Does your dad tell you that? Is that your dad's excuse?
No, there's no excuse. He's got no excuse. But I'm like, so she's like, I'm going to forget what I was going to say. And then, so a little bit of mom guilt comes in because it's, okay, she's trying to communicate. We got to watch over her emotions and we want to see what she has to say. But then, come on, like you have to also put a stop to it because it's constantly, and she's using that excuse. Like, oh, if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget. But she's constantly interrupting. So you got to monitor where the mom guilt comes in and when it's like, stop with the mom guilt. They just need to learn.
We all have to give ourselves, cut ourselves a little slack. Like if you're a present mom in the sense like you're there for your kids, you're caring for them, they're alive, they have a roof over their head. Yes. And you do try to spend quality time with them. It's not like you're just constantly out and about working and then you see them only when they're sleeping. It's like that you are there, you're trying to make the best of it. At the end of the day, you're doing the best that you can. So I say it for myself too. I got to cut myself some slack too when I'm feeling guilty about certain things, and I say, well, I make up for it in other things.
Think about the things you stop buying for yourself because you have to buy stuff for her
them.
And her school. And imagine the back to schools are like because they're growing fast, so you got to get like new uniforms. But something I wanted to not forget to mention is, so the other day on Instagram, you know how Instagram, I guess they listen to or they know what you're looking for because you start getting in your feed. This is horrible. You start getting in your feed like things that are going on in your life. When I got engaged, without me even searching for it, things about engagement kept showing up. It's
the phone is listening to you.
They're listening to us. So I keep getting these challenges on my story. You know how they throw sponsorships? Mm-hmm. Challenges of don't yell, scream at your kid for 30 days. And I clicked on it because I'm like, how do I do that? And it's a challenge. You have to pay for it, which I don't know why. I was like, I have to pay for this? No, I'll just do it some other way. And that's one thing that I do have mom guilt. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm loud. My husband's going to love me saying this part. And sometimes I yell without having to do so. But between the anxiety and the frustration and the trying to get her to listen to me or to stay still when we're trying to do homework or whatever, I scream. Like, it comes out. If I'm telling her something like 4 times, Luna, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. By the 5th, that's when my husband comes in. Why are you screaming? I'm like, I told her 6 times.
It happens.
Sometimes he understands me. Sometimes he doesn't. But it does not make me feel good because I remember when she was younger, she would start screaming the same way I was. And when I would see her doing that, it would kill me. And the mom guilt in that sense for me was huge because I'm like, I don't want to be that mom that's screaming. And then I get that on Instagram saying this is a challenge, don't scream for 30 days. So I'm definitely working on that, and I recommend for all those moms that do the same as I do, let's not try to do it because I try sometimes to go to the other room and be like, or to the bathroom and then come back because I don't want to her to be doing the same thing.
You see, but here's the thing. This is where I say, because that's when it comes to like the gentle parenting and all that stuff, right? So I'm going back to your mom guilt about screaming. How many times do you repeat yourself before you scream? I mean, if you're screaming the first time, like, put your shoes on. I mean, no.
Like
but
5 or 6?
But if you've said it 10 times, hey, put your shoes on, we got to go. They're not listening. Hey, put your shoes on, we got to go. We're in a hurry. Not listening. They're running around now. Hey, put your shoes on, we gotta go. And then by that time, it's like
enter husband, okay?
And the fourth time.
And the fourth time,
yes. And you're like, put your shoes on. Why are you screaming? Yes. Well, and it gets to a point.
It's been 5 times.
Yes.
You didn't hear me the first 4 because I was doing it very subtle.
Yes.
But still, I mean, yeah, what do we do? This is, okay, we need to bring an expert. Again, we're not experts. What do we do in those moments when we're saying it 5, 6 times? We're in a hurry. We need to get somewhere, and they just don't listen. Like, do we put like a candy and hypnotize them, a chocolate in front of them? Like,
and then if you bribe them, it's also bad. Like, hey, listen, if you put your shoes on, I'll put $2 in your piggy bank.
They're gonna
then
be
it's bad.
expecting that all the time. So
I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that it's always going to happen. We have, a couple more years before they turn into teenagers. So I think it's always going to be, we're always going to scream at some point. It's not going to be perfect. Again, it's one day at a time. And it's also thinking to yourself that at the end of the day, overall, do you feel that you're being a good parent, a good mother? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I feel that I give my kids everything that they need to live, to strive. I give them love. I tell them every day how much I love them. And I tell them even in my bad days that I realize I've had a bad day. At the end of the day, I always come back and I say, hey, listen, I'm sorry that I screamed at you. I didn't mean to, but you need to listen. And mommy loves you no matter what. So at the end of the day, cut yourself some slack.
I love that. So I want to close with this. It's a mantra that I found. And not that I found. It's common knowledge. So here it goes. They don't need a perfect mom. They just need a mom that is present.
Yeah.
And if we were not present, we wouldn't be going through all of this, because somebody else would be doing that job for us and we would be chilling at home with a pina colada. Or not at home, at a hotel. But because we're present, we go through all of this. And at the end of the day, that's what it's most important. So
1,000%.
Yay. All right. So with this, we leave you. Thanks for tuning in. And we are on Instagram if you want to chit chat.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.